Game of the year.
Game of the year. For me, it still has to be the Chiefs and Bengals in the regular season. It's a game that was in Cincinnati. It was a rematch of the conference championship. It came down to a touchdown. Bengals came out, they looked dominant, and then the Chiefs came back, take the lead, and then it comes back to a great player like Travis Kelce turning the ball over. Then Joe Burrow gets the ball in his hands, ends up being able to win the game, and then ends the game on a knee, beating the Chiefs by 1 score at home. For me, two of the best teams. It was a rematch of last year's conference championship, met again in the conference championship this year. Feel like that had to be the game of the year for me for the regular season.
Regular season, you're going to be surprised. I had a couple of nominees who I'll mention later. But for this one, it doesn't have the big players like Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. In fact, it has some names that you see that and you're like, that guy. But we also had some great stars, some MVP candidates involved. I'm, of course, talking about the Vikings and Colts game. 33-0. Matt Ryan submitting himself as the biggest choker in NFL history. Again, first in the Super Bowl and then again against the Vikings. The Vikings, we all know the Vikings were fraudulent this year. They proved that against the Giants in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But if there was ever a time that I was a fan of a particular team, I'm like, wait a minute. They're down 33-0. And then suddenly it becomes 33-7, 33-14, 33 to, oh my God. 33-21. Oh my God. They're about to. Holy shit. They won the game. They beat the Colts. And my other nominees for this, because I honestly, I knew that there were some other games that deserved recognition. I almost nominated the AFC title game. I almost nominated, I actually put up the Jags and Chargers game because that was also funny. And I also put up the Texans and Colts game from week 18 because of just the fact that the Texan Whisperer striked again. I had to do it. But this game, for me, it made me a Vikings fan for about 3 quarters. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go Vikings. Let's see if they can blow this perpetual lead. And they did. And it was a great game to watch. We all knew it was about to happen, and it did. So I got to pick Vikings and Colts for game of the year.
Yeah, I would agree with you if that was that's not even the best game that the Vikings have played in this year, though.
Yes, it was.
If you want to talk about the best game, another game of the year nominee could absolutely be the Vikings and Bills.
Yeah. That was a good game.
I mean, you have the greatest catch ever in that game. You have
arguably
turnovers, Josh Allen turning the ball over, Kirk Cousins turning the ball over, coming down to the wire, and then Kirk Cousins heaving it up on a prayer, Justin Jefferson saving the game against the Buffalo Bills. And then if you want to throw out your bad games, your Texans versus your Colts, how about we give a shout out to the Panthers and Falcons game?
That was a good game.
Yeah, that ruined that kicker's Eddie Pinheiro.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
he missed 4?
Yeah, he missed
in that game?
4 kicks in that game.
Brutal.
Destroyed his confidence, came back, played better in the rematch. But we saw Mariota play at a high level versus PJ Walker. It was like watching a college football game at some points. But overall, I thought if you're throwing in Texans and Colts, and then 2 of your top 2 games are the Colts.
Yeah,
the Vikings. It's like, come on.
It was great. It was awesome. I think the Texans
was awesome. But
Texans and Colts, the game itself was god awful. But I called it, did I not? I was like, you know what? They're gonna screw up the number 1 overall pick. And I said, oh, Zach, you're so crazy.
Yeah.
Here I am again.